Hi, Bright Lights. Welcome to the blog Transparency, the process of divorce after 40. So, we have made it to the last vlog in this series. Yes, this is the last vlog for this specific topic of the process of divorce after 40. So I wanted to kind of do a reflection and let you know as well where we are in the process. So let me tell you, over this last, I would say, week and a half, there has been a peace that has come over me that I'm really loving. It's an appreciation of the process that I am able to be in and enjoy. The process of just healing, the process of just being, right? The process of trusting God in every step of the way. I can say going into this process, it was quite scary because I was trying to do everything I could to turn it around. And I remember distinctly like praying to God and asking him, what should I do? What can I do? Like, it seems like everything is getting worse with communication, with the treatment of how we have towards each other on both ends, on just everything. And sometimes we may think if we get a house or we get a car or we add another family member, a baby to the equation, that things will get better, that things will magically change, that our feelings towards that person will miraculously, or their feelings towards us will just do a 360 all of a sudden because of those things. But that's not true. That's not true. If the work truly isn't done on both ends, you'll continue to go through the cycle of dysfunction. And that's how I feel like my marriage was at. Even though my husband and I, we have a strong connection that people can see from miles away. People are like amazed at what they see when they see us and the connection that they see and the love that they see in our eyes, that they don't realize that just because you have that doesn't mean that there aren't underlying things that can make the relationship not what it's supposed to be. And I've been asked, as he has as well, really? Like, you all are getting a divorce? Why? I can see the love. I can see, we have been asked by many people, are you sure? Like, what made y'all come to this decision? Y'all should separate, or y'all should this or that. But one thing that my husband and I are on one accord with is this is the best decision at this point. Even though he didn't want the divorce, I feel like he has come to peace as well, that there are some things that he needs to work on when it comes to his life and his relationship with God. And there's definitely some things I need to work on as it relates to me and my relationship with God. And what you all don't know that I'm going to kind of make you all aware of or let you in on is, before my husband and I married 10 years ago, we had just both come out of relationships that were actually about 5 years, right? So we had just come out of relationships, and we always had this love for each other, even though we weren't together over the years. We always thought about each other. We always had a love for each other. We weren't always in each other's presence or vicinity, but we always, had that hope that maybe it can come back around, right? So when we did actually meet back up, we were so excited and so happy to be in each other's presence again, to feel that love that we had that was still there burning, right? But we had not told each other, or I had told him what God had told me before, had told me once I ended that 5-year relationship. I was told to be celibate for that year and no relationships at all, because I have been in a relationship back to back to back. I haven't been able to really be and really focus on not only the things that need to be healed within myself, but really build a stronger relationship with God, which is needed. So I was told that, and I did not know he was told that too. But we were so happy and so excited and so in love and so enamored and so like into each other that we didn't listen. We went full force ahead on being in a relationship and then marrying like 9 months after we, reconnected. And because we hadn't taken that time to be, to work on, to build relationship with God, because we hadn't listened, because we hadn't taken that time to do that, all the things that needed to be worked on was then pushed to the back burner. And you know how people say love will see you through, and that's all you need is love? Well, let me tell you from experience, you need more than that. You need two people that have God as the center and stand on it. You need two people that are working on one accord and they have a plan and they have a purpose for their marriage. You need two people that are committed. You need two people that are healed, essentially, because if you're going into something where you're not healed, all of those things show up in your relationship. Now, there are relationships that have been able to, as they say, weather the storm and get through a lot of the things, a lot of hardships that relationships go through, because being in a marriage is not easy, because you have two people with two different backgrounds, two different perspectives. And you have relationships that have weathered the storm either because they have been able to turn it around, they've been able to acknowledge some things that they need to work on and actually work on it, and they've been able to do that together. You have some marriages where they've stuck it in there, but it still ain't where it needs to be. Right? It's just there, saying you're married for so many years. But what good does that do when both your souls are broken? What good does that do when you don't have that relationship with God, where your soul is lost, but you're in a marriage? What good does saying you're married and you've been married for so many years when you are a shell of a person? What good does that do? And we both decided that, and with me first making the decision, because this was not something that was taken lightly. This is not something that I just was like, oh, I'm tired of this and we've been through too much. No, I consulted with God. And a lot of times when you tell people that you're ending a marriage, it's like you're questioned and you're made to feel guilty sometimes, and you're made to feel like the bad person, or you're made to, or the other person may be, you know, labeled as the bad person that made this come to be. But I wanted you all to see that even though my husband and I are getting a divorce, that it doesn't have to be ugly. It doesn't have to be bitter. It doesn't have to be the name calling. It doesn't have to be the finger pointing. You can be able to do that and be at peace. And the only reason that we're at peace is because we know that God is working on us individually, and we know it's bigger than us, right? We know it's bigger than us. A lot of times it's about that individual person and what was done in the relationship to them, and what they had to endure, and what that, you know, it's all about them. But do you ever just take a moment to realize that sometimes the marriage is ending because God wants to get your attention, that God wants to save your soul, because what you're in, you're focusing on everything else but Him. Do you ever take a moment to think, maybe this is the best decision of my life, right? A saying that I hear a lot is, if you love someone, you will let them go. And that isn't an easy thing at all. That's not easy to do when you love somebody, to just let them go, knowing that it's best for them to let them blossom, to let them grow, to let them heal, right? Because you're selfish and you want to hold on to that person, and you have this overwhelming feeling of love for that person that you don't want to let them go, right? You don't want to let them go. You want to hold on. You don't want nobody else to have them. It hurts too much to let them go. But that's a saying that's said a lot. If you love somebody, let them go. But how many people are able to really do that and know that that's the best decision, is to let that person that they love so much go, not knowing if they will ever be able to be in the same type of relationship with them ever again? How many people are able to do that? Not many. Not many. I can say that I have been able to gain a strong, consistent trust in God and His will for my life. I have been able to, I've had no choice but to trust God. A lot of times we try to make things happen on our own, because you can make things happen on your own, but sometimes it's at the detriment of your own self. But trusting God truly means not knowing what the outcome will be. Trusting God is truly sometimes not even knowing when your next financial breakthrough, or where your bill money will come through, your rent money will come through, where your gas money, because inflation is high, where that money will come through, or not knowing when you will feel peace again or love, trusting that God has your best interests and knows. I've been doing that. And let me tell you, I'm okay with that. I'm really okay. You know, at first it was just like, ooh, let me do this. Let me make it happen. Like, oh, I need this. I'm going to make this happen. But to really like trust and listen to God and like walk that path for me has been exhilarating. It hasn't been exhausting. Like when you try to do things on your own, it can sometimes be, it can, not sometimes, it's exhausting because you try to find all these different ways to make it happen. You trying to make it work. Ooh, let me put my 2 cents in. That's exhausting. That could be exhausting. But when you like give it all to God and you like open your heart to God and when you like trust God, like every day is new. Like every day is new. And that's beautiful for me. I love it. So, right now in the process, we are in the last couple of weeks of the amount of days that we have before the divorce will be final. So that will be in October when the divorce will be finalized. We've had many conversations. We're able to still have good conversations, real deep, inquisitive, real thought-provoking conversations on where we are in our path, where we are with our healing, where we are with our thought process, where we are with our relationship with God. So we've been able to have those relationships and we're both at peace with where we are. So I am so happy for that. And I heard a word from my pastor this weekend that said, have you thought about the decision that you made saved someone's soul? And I said, wow, the decision that you made saved someone's soul. And that hit me because my husband has told me that if it wasn't for me saying that I wanted a divorce, that he would have kept on the same path. That he wouldn't have taken a moment to say, I need to work on myself, or I need to work on my relationship with God and trust God more and build a stronger relationship, because the relationship that I had, yes, I had a relationship, but it wasn't where it needed to be. And my healing was not being done. That in itself, just don't know, like, sometimes letting somebody go means saving their soul and saving yours. Not being selfish and holding on so tight that you can't see the bigger picture. That bigger picture. That is not all about you. And as I continue this path, I've already been told what I need to do coming up out of this marriage is to be. is to trust God, is to follow the path that He is laying for my life. And I am listening this time. I'm not doing what I did before and just jumping into things. No. This ending this marriage is not about me going out and finding a new relationship to be in, or finding another marriage to be in, just jumping in, you know? It's not about that. For me, it's about being, and it's about healing that brokenness. because forming relationships when you have trauma, forming relationships when you have pain still that you're in, that's in the inside, that's unhealed, like going into relationships where you have anger still inside of you, where you know you're unhealthy, but you're choosing to go into another relationship, go into another marriage without healing, without clearing out that stuff, without overcoming that stuff, without speaking your truth in instances where you haven't even started that process of speaking your truth, of not being authentically you, to go into another situation. I refuse. I'm not choosing that life again. I did it over and over and over in my past, and I know where that led me. I have to be healthy. I have to have that love already on the inside of me. I have to have that strong relationship with God where I stand on His 10 toes down, where there's no compromise, where my standards are high, where I have to be that person. I know who I am. I know who I am. And I'm not settling for less. I'm not accepting less. I'm not. And that's where I am. So I want to thank everybody, because I've gotten a lot of feedback from women and men about my husband and I being able to be so transparent and helping them in their journey. And I'm glad that I've been able to help others in this journey. But thank you. Thank you for being on this journey with me and my husband as we are going through this process of divorce. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your feedback. Thank you for your love. Thank you for your perspectives, your reflections on things, thank you for being honest in where you are in your process. Thank you. We appreciate all of that. We really do. We appreciate it. I didn't really necessarily know where this vlog was gonna go. All I knew, I was led to do it. And I was listening, right? I was led to do it. I didn't necessarily want to do it. I'm transparent, but some things I'd be like, ugh. But if I'm led to do it, I do it. And I have to do it knowing that I'm helping somebody else. Looking at it from the other lens. If I'm listening to this, give it your all. Don't just half-step it. And hopefully you've been able to see that. And right now I'm just so happy to be on the road that I'm on now. So there's going to be you'll see more videos, and you'll see just more of the healing process. And hopefully you'll be able to see the growth, because I'm definitely seeing growth in myself. I just want to say thank you. And I love you guys. I love you guys. I love you guys. And continue to be on this journey with me, because you just never know what you'll be able to learn, what you'll be able to gather from, my journey or what I'm going through. You'll never know just by listening to somebody else what you can change or shift where you are in a positive way. So what I'm going to do now is leave you all with peace, love, and all this light, because it's light beaming. And I'll see you around on my next video. Until next time, Bye bye.